Hey there, trail trekkers and tall tale seekers. You're tuned in to the 406 Life, the podcast where Montana Max, your Bigfoot buddy and outlaw gear mascot, yeah, that's me, leads you through the wild, weird, and wonderful corners of Montana. Each week we share stories, legends, and laughs from the last best place. So grab your boots and sense of adventure, because we're about to make some Montana-sized memories. This episode's powered by Outlaw Gear, where rebels get their style. Want to look legendary? Mosey over to I'mAnOutlaw.com and claim your outlaw status. Well, howdy there, folks. You're wandering into the woods with Montana Max, your Bigfoot buddy, 406 local legend, and unofficial tour guide to all things weird, wild, and wonderful under the big sky. Welcome to the 406 Life podcast, where we dig up the stories other folks are too scared or too smart to go looking for. Now, if you're new around here, let me lay it out. I'm a grizzled, slow-talking Bigfoot, and I know a thing or two about keeping history alive. Heck, I've been avoiding the public eye since long before Montana even had highways. When you're my age, give or take a few centuries, you learn that every little corner of Montana's got its own story. And today, we're chasing down the wild, woolly, and sometimes wacky world of Montana museums. That's right. Today, we're mapping Montana's museum landscape. So strap on your hiking boots, grab a handful of beef jerky, and let's see what memories we can dig up. And hey, if you spot any suspiciously large footprints out there, those are just my cousins. Pay 'em no mind. Now let's start at the top. Montana's a funny place. Got more cows than people, more mountain lions than Starbucks, and more museums per capita than you'd think possible for a state where folks still measure distance in hours to the next gas station. You'd figure with all this empty space there'd be nothing but tumbleweeds and maybe the odd roadside diner. But no, sir. From the peaks of the Rockies to the prairies by Plentywood, you'll find museums tucked into every nook and cranny. Even us Bigfoots have our own hidden displays, usually just a pile of old fishing lures and socks that hikers left behind. But I digress. So why all these museums? Well, Montana folks are stubborn about their stories. Maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the wild critters, or maybe it's because out here, if you don't write your own history, it blows away faster than your hat in a Chinook wind. Montana's got over half its museums in rural towns, way more than the national average. That means even the smallest towns, places with one stop sign, one bar, and one mayor, who might also be the bartender, have a museum. And they're usually run by folks who know every family in the valley and might even give you a cup of coffee if you're polite. I like to think it's because Montanans don't wait for someone else to step up. They just roll up their sleeves, dust off Grandpa's saddle, and make a museum out of whatever they've got. You should see the collection of unexplained footprints they've got in Libby. Not saying they're mine, but, well, let's move on. Ready for your next Montana home? Visit mostwantedrealestate.net, because that's how the West is sold. Montana museums ain't like them big city places with velvet ropes and do not touch signs everywhere. Out here, it's hands-on, boots on the ground, and sometimes you gotta shake the snow off the exhibits before you look at them. You want to climb into a mining shaft in Butte? Go for it. Sit in a jail cell in Deer Lodge? You bet. Watch beadwork and flint knapping by Blackfeet artists? Absolutely. Heck, I once got mistaken for an exhibit myself. Some tourists started taking selfies with me by the outhouse at the Miracle of America Museum. Joke's on her. Now her phone's got a permanent blurry spot where my face should be. That's just my natural defense mechanism, kinda like a skunk, but hairier. Now, not every museum's got the same job. Some are the big kahunas, like the Montana Historical Society over in Helena. That place is the official memory bank of Montana. Got everything from ancient beadwork to Charles M. Russell masterpieces. Think of it like a giant time capsule with really good climate control. But on the other side, you got all the place-based museums, the little guys out in Glendive, Hobson, Kalispell, and 100 other towns. These are the spots where history gets personal. Exhibits might be about a legendary rodeo star, the town's one-armed bandit, not the slot machine, but the actual outlaw, or the world's largest collection of barbed wire. Seriously, you ain't seen local pride till you've been to a Montana barbed wire museum. Don't laugh, it's a thing. All right, let's take a detour to the big anchors, the museums that draw visitors from around the world. Picture me, but with more fossils and fewer burrs in my hair. First up, the Montana Historical Society in Helena. Founded back when dinosaurs still roamed the prairies, or at least when their bones were first discovered, this place is the guardian of the state's biggest stories. Right now it's closed for a huge remodel, which means all those artifacts are getting a dusting they ain't seen since 1889. When it opens back up, it's gonna be shinier than a new pair of spurs and worth every minute. Then you got the Museum of the Rockies in Bozeman. Dinosaur fans, this one's for you. World-class fossil displays, planetarium, and enough T-Rex teeth to make even me nervous about my place on the food chain. And if you're into Yellowstone, textiles, or old firearms, they got you covered, too. The C.M. Russell Museum in Great Falls, this place is pure Western gold. Home to thousands of works from the cowboy artist himself, plus his old house and studio. Pro tip: if you see a big, hairy guy sketching outside, just wave. That's my cousin, Sasquatch Sam. He does a mean watercolor. And don't forget the Montana Museum of Art and Culture in Missoula. Tucked away at the university, this place is loaded with art from all over the world, but keeps its heart in the Rockies. If you ever want to get schooled in art history and maybe spot a Bigfoot hiding behind a landscape painting, this is the place. Need shipping, shredding, prints, or a real street address? Helena's locally owned and operated the UPS store has you covered, located at 2047 North Last Chance Gulch. Stop by and get it done right. Montana's not just mountains and moose. Our museums dive deep into the stories that built this state, mining, industry, and the enduring power of the Northern Plains tribes. In Butte, the World Museum of Mining lets you step right into an 1890s mining camp. If you ain't afraid of the dark, head underground for a tour that's as real as it gets. Watch your head, though. I learned the hard way that mine helmets are not Bigfoot-sized. Ouch. In Deer Lodge, the old Montana prison complex offers 5 museums in one stop. The prison, a car museum, old toys, Western guns, and more. That old jail's so spooky even I wouldn't sleep there. And trust me, I've crashed in some pretty rough caves. Montana's tribal museums, like the Museum of the Plains Indian in Browning and the Yellowstone Tribal Heritage Center, are vital. These places let tribal voices tell their own stories, mixing old regalia with today's living culture. It's where the past and present meet, and where even a Bigfoot gets a little misty-eyed, remembering our shared land. Don't just stop at the big names, y'all. The real fun's in the hidden gems, like the Miracle of America Museum in Polson, a place so jam-packed with oddities, you'll think a tornado hit the Smithsonian and dropped it on Flathead Lake. Last time I was there, I tripped over a moonshine still and landed in a 1912 barber chair. Happens more than you'd think. You got spots like Nine Pipes Museum in Charlo, Flathead history. Range Riders Museum in Miles City, frontier lore. Historical Museum at Fort Missoula, Western Montana history. Bighorn County Museum in Hardin, local artifacts and old buildings. Plus, science centers like Spectrum in Missoula. Free for all, hands-on for the kids, and yes, Even Bigfoots can learn a thing or two. This episode's powered by Outlaw Gear, where rebels get their style. Want to look legendary? Mosey over to I'mAnOutlaw.com and claim your outlaw status. Now, these museums ain't just for show, they keep small towns alive. The Montana Heritage Center alone is set to pump millions into the economy. Places like the Museum of the Rockies draw visitors from every corner of the globe. Folks who stay in motels, eat in cafes, and maybe even buy a souvenir mug with my mug on it. Kidding. Unless you're interested, in which case, call my agent. Most of these museums run on volunteers. Folks who work for the love of it, not for a paycheck. And some, like Spectrum and the Yellowstone Art Museum, make sure everybody gets a shot, no matter what's in your wallet. Let's land this plane. Montana's museums are as alive as the prairie in spring. Big city anchors draw the crowds, show off the state's treasures. Small-town gems keep it personal, real, and local. Every museum, no matter the size, helps make Montana's story stronger. Whether you're a kid from Kalispell or a Sasquatch who's seen it all, these places matter. They remind us that history's not just about the past. It's about who we are right now. Let me leave you with a few Bigfoot-approved recommendations. Don't skip the little museums. You never know when you'll find a hidden gem or one of my old footprints. Talk to the volunteers. They know more stories than any display. Take your time. There's no rush in Montana, except maybe when the pie's fresh. And if you see a big hairy guy in the shadows, just tip your hat and say howdy. I promise we're friendlier than we look. Well, that's all for this ramble through Montana's museum country. If you want to dive deeper into the details, you can read the full blog post over at the406life.com. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, do me a solid and give it a 5-star rating. Share it with your family, your friends, even that cousin who swears he saw me behind the gas station in Joliet. Every share helps more folks find us and keeps these Montana stories alive. Until next time, keep your boots muddy, your curiosity sharp, and your eyes peeled for big footprints. Montana Max over and out. Got a Montana story, business, or unsolved mystery you want on the show? Head to the406life.com and drop me a line. No smoke signals required. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a stomp, stumble, or tall tale. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, heck, tell that guy who swears he saw me near Whitefish. I was just buying donuts, all right? Until next time, keep it outrageous, keep it kind, and keep living the 406 life. Montana Max, over and out.
That's the